This is the Aftermarket Radio Network.
Welcome, everyone, to yet another episode of Diagnosing the Aftermarket A to Z. I'm Matt Fonzlo, and we're going to change it up today. We're going to have a guest firing questions at me. And I had a Liam Neeson nightmare. I kidnapped his daughter, and he just wasn't having it. They made 3 of those movies. At some point, you have to wonder if he's just a bad parent. That and more after a word from our sponsor, NAPA Autotech Training. NAPA Autotech's team of ASE Master Certified instructors are conducting over 1,200 classes covering 28 automotive topics. To see a selection, go to napaautotech.com for more details. All right, so I have a relative unknown in the industry joining me to fire some questions at me. I've had some requests for just random questions, so I decided to call some of my very best friends, and they're all busy. So I've begged Tracy Capriotto to join me and I guess take over, just run the show. She kind of does that anyways.
Thank you for that introduction, Matt. I was wondering what you were going to say about me because I know you like to roast your guests before they come on.
I was nice to one of them.
Which one? I missed that episode then.
I think it was Dr. Rosenblum, the economist. I'm pretty sure I was pretty nice to him. Jim Kemper, I was nice to him.
You're nice to Margaret.
I have been. I'm going to have to do something about that. Yeah, so there's some people.
All right, well, I have a list of questions. You do not know what I'm about to ask you, correct?
I rarely know the answer to any question, so this is nothing new.
I did ask you before we recorded if there's anything you want me to purposely ask you, automotive-wise, and you said no. So this is the real deal.
Yeah, I changed my mind. Do you ever get sick of hearing yourself talk? Yes.
I'm going to have a bunch of random questions. Some automotive, most are not. And I know they'll be hard for you to answer and pick only maybe one memory or one lesson. But do your best. This is rapid fire. So just whatever is on the top of your mind when I ask these questions. I'll start off, though, with something easy. What did you have to eat today?
Nothing.
Really?
Truly.
What have you had to drink today?
Believe it or not, I've had more than one 12-ounce serving of Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh my gosh, really? I've never seen you drink Mountain Dew before. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's becoming a thing. I usually stock up.
I actually haven't eaten anything today either. I've had coffee and tea. That's it. All right, next question. Who is your favorite female Asian in the automotive aftermarket?
There's just so many to choose from. You know, let me think. How many do I know? Due to a lack of options, I would have to say, oh, wait, I'm not supposed to be thinking about this. Obviously, it's Tracy Capriotto.
Wow, thank you.
I didn't even know she was Asian. I thought she was from Michigan. Oh, New York. Get those two mixed up. Just ask Brian Pollock. I don't know why it's funny to me to mess up Michigan and New York on purpose, but I just find it hilarious.
Okay. Describe a transformative moment at a training event.
Wow. There's many, actually, but I think the one that was most powerful, if you will, and I know powerful is like just a word that gets tossed around a lot, but I mean, just ignited. I mean, the thirst to learn was always there, but going to Vision the first time. So this is going to be around 2005, 4, 5, maybe 6. It's the ride from hell, or whatever you want to call it, from Chicago to Kansas City with John Thornton, Dan Baumhart, Ken Zanders, and Bob Hype. In itself was transformative. But when I got there, I got to finally meet in person Harvey Chan, Edwin Alfaro, John Riggle, who I didn't even know was there, but I knew the name from IATN chat, Lloyd Jones. But sitting in the bar at, I think it's probably like 2 a.m. with just Edwin, John Riggle, and Harvey Chan and I going over some case studies. Like, they were genuinely interested in these PowerPoints I had made. I thought they were jerking me around. I really did. I thought they were just like making fun of me, kind of like this feigning interest, but they really were. And just, we're talking about one case study with a Nissan crank sensor that would reverse polarity, if you will, and just kind of blowing everyone's mind except Harvey, who's just like shrugs his shoulders, like just that's what they do. It was just the beginning of a really, really great friendship. Amongst other things, like, of course, meeting John Thornton and becoming friends with him just put me on a whole different trajectory I didn't think I could possibly ever be on. And honestly, I didn't know existed.
You know, it's funny. I feel like at this point, I don't know, it's maybe fair to say I've gotten to know you a little bit over the years. And this is actually my next question I have in order. Your favorite memory of Harvey Chan?
You almost by default say there's so many. I think the first time meeting him, I'd always, gotten to know him, if you will, via chat. So text, typing back and forth, reading. But to finally walk up to him and this almost 6 foot tall Chinese Canadian who turns around and goes, "How's it going, eh?" And I think my accent is thicker than his. Especially before I moved to Kansas, my accent was much thicker than his. So when him and I would go around the country, if you will, training, people thought I was the one from Canada. That was one of my very favorite, like just cracks me up every time I think about it. It's not specific, but just the antics when we're teaching classes up front. I don't know, just the way we could banter during a class, talk, bust each other's balls and be fun about it, but still not turn it into just a straight up comedy show. Just little quips here and there. And then when it really came down to it, he was so freaking smart and there just was no stumping him. Yeah. I could say stuff like when stuff wasn't going so good with, a baby we lost and him being one of the first to call and just talk. I don't know. It's like a fond memory about a not so fond memory. So yeah, he was a terrific, terrific friend and a terrible, terrible loss for not just the Chan family, but I would say the profession, auto repair profession, but he also had like another life of motorcycle riding. And he had a couple Harley Davidsons that he'd go on these really long trips by himself or with his wife, Pat. And he had this whole other group of people that had no idea what he was to the auto repair profession. No idea. They just knew he was Harvey and he was funny and smart and all that and a good guy. And I love that. I don't know why. I just love that.
All right. Next question. Speaking of Harvey, what is the backstory on your profile picture that you have in Slack of you and him? And I believe that was your profile picture the first time you got hacked. It's a different one on Facebook now. But what event was that from? And was that both of you teaching a class together?
Yeah, it was Vision. It was probably 2014. Yeah, probably 2014. Somebody had just shot a photo of him and I arguing about something on my computer. I felt like that's my profile and I was never going to change it after he passed away. Like that was going to be it forever. And then I got hacked and I really didn't have another alternative. And I had to have people believe I was who I said I was, that the new profile wasn't a hacked or fictitious one. So yeah, I did a different profile, which is me holding a Snap-on scan tool running another piece of software called VagCom on a Volkswagen. So I was basically using this Snap-on, I think at the time it was a Zeus with the different scan tool manufacturers software and dongles. So those who know me would see that and laugh and go, yeah, that's him. Like an Easter egg.
I'm laughing because these questions are just going perfectly. My next question is, the last scan tool you used, what was it and what was it for?
It was the Autel Ultra to do an ADAS calibration on a 2024 like Toyota Camry static.
If you had a room full of consumers, what is something you would want them to learn about the auto repair profession?
They are piloting around arguably the most complex thing they own. And that the people that they take their vehicle to be serviced, I think regardless of the shop, just in general. So like certain shops like ours, Riverside, we can't have specialists, people that specialize in certain areas. A lot of shops don't have that luxury nor that philosophy. So the person servicing your vehicle, their skill set is so wide and so vast. What they have to know, it's mind-boggling. And you can kind of prove it when you hire a novice. And if you really pump the brakes on what you're trying to show them and tell them, it can be overwhelming how much stuff you know to just do the most mundane repairs on a car. We take it for granted. And I'm not saying it should cause our heads to just swell right up and start talking like we're a bunch of doctors running around, but some of the knowledge levels are on par with that. I just think that it would be nice for the motoring public to better understand just what it takes to service their vehicle fully and the levels to it. Like, yes, we'll just pick on brakes because it's easy to say that they're easy. They're not always easy, but in general, it's a more low stress, low intellectually challenging process all the way up through, tearing an engine out or a transmission that can be long and complex, a lot of stuff taken apart, to what it takes to get a used control module to use. And maybe I skipped one, maybe just programming a module, like uploading firmware to it, especially if you use multiple different tools. Like, they're all different. Most people don't go to work and, I got to grab the Windows laptop. I got to go grab this, iPad to do this. And, we can only do this in Linux. That's not typical. I'm sure somewhere somebody does that, but that's kind of what we do. And not just some stuff runs in Windows, some stuff runs in Android, but the interfaces themselves, the user interfaces are so different. If you're doing multiple car lines, programming, with factory software, that isn't nothing. And then the next level of cars weren't designed to have used modules put in them and to make them work what it takes. Not just monetary investment, but the time investment to figure it out, to form relationships with people that are doing some of it or a lot of it now and learning with each other, from each other. I would hope that they would start looking at the repair facility and all the employees with a little bit different light, maybe a little more respect and admiration, just a little bit. It doesn't, again, they don't have to just shower us with praise, but a little bit different. Just like it takes a lot to do this.
Describe a typical evening when you get home from work.
I plead the fifth. I have the right to not incriminate myself. School started, so now we have 3 people in school. Okay, I guess 4. My oldest son is going to be at least 20. He'll be 21 in December. He's going to college online. So when he's here, he's in school. Our youngest son is 10. He goes to school, has schoolwork. My stepdaughter, she's online school for middle school. So she has work to do, needs help. My wife, Danielle, is getting her master's degree. So she has school. So sometimes it's kind of a rat race to get home at a halfway decent time. I can't really hang out at work very long, stay late like I used to. I have to get home and try to get some sort of meal prepared. And then, not only just do house type chores, if you will, but also 3-4 people to help with schoolwork. So it's really exciting.
So do you help with laundry and cooking at home?
Yeah. Don't tell anybody, but yeah. The wash machine does most of the work. I throw the clothes in it.
That's what my mom always says.
Yeah. Dump some detergent in there. Seemingly not enough, but I guess the front loaders, you do not put very much detergent in those. And then about an hour later, you empty it and throw that wet stuff or damp into the dryer and start it all over again. It's tough, hard work.
Okay. The latest or last feedback you received, what was it?
Like, not from you?
Not from me.
Oh, professionally? I mean, I was at the doctor and they were telling me I was a trooper. I felt that was positive feedback. I mean, that would honestly be the most recent. Then I had a phone call from a colleague to talk about some stuff and had nice feedback, not just on the podcast, but just that they could call and talk and not feel judged and all that. That's pretty nice to hear.
That definitely is good feedback to hear. Okay. What does this quote mean to you? Don't have a good day, have a great day.
Oh, man. Yeah, The Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds movie. It's a fun movie, especially if you have a little bit of love of video games. It wouldn't have to be really deep, but video games where you're, I guess all of them, you're kind of in a different world, but that one very much almost like Grand Theft Auto-ish, and NPC now becomes almost, you can't play him, but he's like now a real character that's doing things and setting examples, and a lot of references to games, not just games themselves, but maybe like, I guess what you would say is like familiar trends with games, stuff like that, what they would do. So yeah, I would equate that with, a lot of fun, and it's a good movie, and had a good time watching it. NAPA Autotech training sessions are being conducted day and night in a town near you. This training caters to every level within your organization, be it a mechanical assistant, a mechanical specialist, a technology specialist, or a driver safety calibration specialist. Imagine a one-stop shop training partner in NAPA Autotech that will lead your team to a path to greatness. Autotech's entry-level Build-A-Tech classes convert the untapped potential of your new hires into money-making mechanical specialists. Autotech's higher-level tech update classes introduce specialists to the world of ever-changing technologies, which prevents your shop from getting technologically stagnant. Remember, if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. And, turning to the front of the store, the Autotech Service Advisor class is an awesome way to hone your client advocate skill set, ultimately benefiting the customer through an improved vehicle repair experience. But it doesn't stop there. Imagine an electric vehicle class that takes your specialist well past the mundane, yet necessary safety topics. Well, it's here. Autotech's EV Ready training is a week-long curriculum that takes participants through a hands-on experience involving hybrids and electric vehicles. The session kicks off with the use of PPE and proper tooling while touching on required OSHA regulations. Then, the students dive into the lab vehicles to gain knowledge of the common high-voltage components on EV and hybrid vehicles and their function. Attendees will be taken on a path exposing them to different electric vehicle manufacturers to compare component form and location. Additionally, information about Level 1 and Level 2 charging systems will be included, along with a quick look at DC to DC charging. The operation and maintenance of subsystems are explored, including the different modes of Tesla operations, and so much more. So what are you waiting for? Commit to taking your business to the next level with NAPA Autotech training.
Okay, my next question. What is a common electrical misconception in the auto repair industry?
There's so many. Some of them don't matter. People have heard me say it before. It doesn't matter that our concept of electricity is wildly wrong. It's back to accuracy versus applicability. And in the case of accuracy, it's not going to help you at all. So your concept of an electron as this small sphere going around the nucleus of an atom that looks like a miniature solar system is called the Bohr model. And it came in very handy in the 30s, where it helped explain shells and energy levels, really. That's really not what's going on at all. Does it hurt to think that way? Not really. It doesn't affect us. I don't know if it's a misconception, but it just seems like it's so not understood, is like what the meter is telling you and what it isn't telling you. So if you're looking at what we would maybe call open circuit voltage, even though the circuit itself might not technically be open, but maybe it's not being operated. So you didn't physically open the circuit, but the circuit's not active, or it's failed in such a way that it's not loading the circuit. The meter's not telling you what you think it is, or it might not if you don't understand circuit loading. And to me, that is one of the biggest misconceptions. Is I'm using this meter like I was taught, and I don't know if it's a training thing. I think a lot of it's a retention thing and understanding the difference between unloaded and loaded. And I mean, it's no different than the difference in your pickup truck miles per gallon or fuel economy loaded versus unloaded. They're not the same. And if you really want to see how much power your truck's got, load that thing down. Does it still go? Like, does it still get up and go? That means something. If it gets up and goes unloaded, what does that tell you? Not a ton. Circuits are very similar to that, where we need to be testing them in ways that stress them enough to prove that they are, that they have integrity.
What is a piece of advice you try to teach your kids?
Should be listen to me, but
well, even adults don't do that. So
I don't know how you teach it. I think I've tried, and by me saying this implies that I am, and I don't know that I really am. I try so desperately to be aware of my surroundings, aware of my biases, aware of other people's biases, aware of, how I'm affecting just things, mainly like interactions or relationships, conversations, good, bad, or otherwise. I try really, really hard to be able to do that. No, a lot of times you'll wonder how that could be possible, but I know what, like if I'm saying certain things, I kind of know what I'm doing or trying to do, and then watching what really happens. I think the other thing is, in general, for young people, I feel is a couple of things. One, I'm just going to steal outright from Mike Rowe and Scott Galloway, is for crying out loud, stop trying to chase your passion as a career. Like you can start out early on. You should know if you have a shot. And then for your fun or hobbies, for crying out loud, absolutely go for your passions. But when it comes down to careers and income and work, go with what you're good at. Find something you're really good at, and it's marketable, if you will. Go make a really good living doing that so you can afford to chase your passions. Maybe it ends up where you do get to make your passion a career because now you've bought yourself time to do it. So I suppose an example would be my oldest son watch Forged in Fire, just binge it. Love the show. I like the show. It's a terrific show. For a competition, one of the best competition shows ever. And I think he wanted to get into like sword making, and he had it in his head that he could just, put up a little shop behind this house and then eventually his house and make swords, and people would pay, and he could make a living doing that, not knowing numbers or anything. And trying to tell him, like, I don't think that's really how that works. You could go to school for blacksmithing, swordsmithing, but now when you get out in the real world, how many jobs do you think there are for swordsmithing? There's a freaking machine that does it. It just punches it out of steel. And for most people, it looks good. That's all it ever needs to do. It's going to hang somewhere as a, oh, look at that katana. Look at that samurai sword. Oh, that's cool. Looking, where'd you get that? Oh, online. From Japan. Probably not. Got it from Etsy. But you could get a job doing something else. And I was pushing the service trades, auto repair, electrician, plumber, something like that, that I don't feel artificial intelligence or automation is going to touch for quite a while. Make a good enough living that you can build your own forge. And if that's your passion, you get home from work and you go spend an hour in the forge every night, a couple hours. Your weekends, you take off a week or two during the year, whenever, to work on some project. That's your passion. Go for it. And then you build something, and it's a sword or an axe or something, and somebody's like, wow, that's cool. Would you make me one of those? Yeah. Okay. How much? A couple $100. Yeah. And maybe then someday you have more work to do in your forge than you can possibly get done the way you've been doing it. And you found out you can make as much or more or enough. You can make enough to justify quitting your job to do that full time. That would be terrific. That would be almost perfect world. Storybook. But too often they just have this idea like, oh man, I just love video games, so I'm going to play video games for a living. It's not how that works. For some, of course, it does, and those are the people we hear. Got all those actors and actresses standing up there with that golden trophy. Follow your passions. Nobody ever thought I could do this. Dreams do come true.
And that's what we hear all the time in school, with parents, with counselors in school. Well, what do you like to do? What are you good at?
What are you good at? And sometimes you don't know because you never did anything. And that's just the way it is. Another thing I tried to get them to do is take advantage of temp agencies and just walk in there. And it's like, I'm 20, I'm 21. I don't know what I want to do. I want to just run me through the gamut. Let me do a week here, a couple weeks there, whatever, short term. And not just, I know a lot of those temp agencies are really aimed towards factory work, but not to say not to go try it. What ones also deal with, landscaping or lawn care companies or construction, roofing, office work, whatever. And you just find out, I really love punching a clock, sitting down in a cubicle for 8 hours and going home and getting a nice paycheck. And I'm in a warm office, a cool office in the summer, warm in the winter. And there's people to shoot the breeze with at the water cooler. And I could do this. Or you find out I can't work inside. I need to be outside. I don't care what I'm doing. Just give me a shovel. I would rather do that. It's 104 out today. Oh, well, beats the hell out of sitting in that cubicle. You get some perspective, and that's what they need. And everybody needs perspective. We don't get enough of it. So yeah, that's not one thing I tell people. It's like a lot of things.
All right. If we asked your family, what is something Matt could work on? What do you think it would be?
Cars? Oh, it depends on who we ask. Family as in wife and kids, or family as in like parents, brothers, siblings?
Well, let's start with Danielle. What is something she would say you could work on?
Probably quit taking anything that could be misconstrued as a criticism as being like a big shot at you, like some big shame thing. I think that would be it. Like sometimes she's just asking a question.
What's an example of that?
Why did you hang the ceiling fan with the drop rod on it? She wasn't criticizing it. She was just wondering why I chose to do that. And the answer was, well, that's the way the other one was. That's not what she wanted. So I had to convert it to, the ceiling hugger. I kind of initially took that as to be like some big challenge, almost to the point where it's like hand her the tools and say, you do it then.
So is that defensiveness?
I think I can get defensive, but usually it's just like feeling bad I got it wrong. Initially, I think it's usually feeling bad I got it wrong, or I'm not living up to some expectation or something like that. And then if I think about it and go, well, I had a 50-50 shot. I didn't get any kind of guidance with this. And then it could turn into defensiveness. Not saying we have like this big to-do of an argument or anything, or that it's chippy or anything like that, but just you can sense those feelings.
Okay, what is something your kids would say?
Not shooting looks at them.
I mean, all of us in the auto repair industry wish that.
Everybody that knows me might say that. Coworkers.
What about your parents? What is something they would say?
Now I don't know so much. When I was living there, why do you have to argue about everything? Like, we're on to you. We know that you may agree with us entirely, but you're just arguing for the sake of arguing to see if you can somehow eke out this win. That would be when I lived there. Definitely. Now I'm not so sure.
You'll have to ask them. They might have something.
Maybe. I think they just, I don't know that it's like, you need to work on this because this is broken. But I think it's just make sure you have time to go enjoy. I hate to say just life to be so vague. Don't put things off. If you could do it sooner rather than later. Meaning if there is a trip you would like to take, or there's a place you would like to see, or an activity you would like to do, if you can do it reasonably, do it now. Don't wait.
It's great advice.
Yeah. But I mean, to like actively work on, you'd think they'd say tone down the sarcasm, but I think
it's useless for them even saying that.
Yeah. It's like, that's his language. Sarcasm's Matt's love language.
Okay. What is the most recent picture on your phone right now?
It's actually we've been working on the bathroom, and the shower surround is installed. Just kind of a after photo, if you will.
Are you tiling it?
No, it was, I hate to say a kit, but that's kind of what it is. So it's sheetrocked. It should never get wet, but I used fungus / moisture resistant, mold and mildew resistant sheetrock, or drywall, if you will. I used that anyways, even though there's really no reason it should ever get wet. And it goes all the way up to the ceiling, the panels. It's unbelievable how different it can look.
Okay, what is something surprising about being a podcast host that you just didn't expect?
People to listen to it. I mean, it is.
Besides that,
I mean, how many people listen? How many people it matters? Like it has a positive effect on them or their lives, which might mean maybe as a piece of advice. Maybe it was something to do with how to attack a car, or maybe it was very specific problem on a vehicle that was discussed, or maybe something theoretical, but also like the stuff that's not directly related to a car, the personal stuff, even if it's just feeling like you're alone, you're not the only one. Like there are other people that have gone through these things, some better, some worse. And there's people that you can reach out to. Sometimes a 15-minute conversation with somebody that's kind of been through some stuff can make all the difference. And sometimes listening to somebody talk about something they went through, and it won't even be just me, a guest, is enough to make whatever they're going through a little more tolerable, or seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. That will never get old. I can't imagine that ever getting old. I can't imagine thinking, oh, well, that's what we do. No, it's a really good feeling. And also just, I think just human, podcast just reaches more ears than whatever social event.
Well, that cues right into my next question, actually. So what is some networking advice you would give to a newcomer that is maybe going to their first automotive conference? They have not been to one before, even going to class. They are nervous about that, sitting in the back, and then on breaks or in the evening, they see groups forming. It can look from the outside as cliquey, maybe. They maybe see you, they know of your podcast, but they see you're surrounded by, groupies.
The problem is I'm the groupie surrounding somebody else.
But they maybe recognize you, but they see you're in a group. And so maybe they feel nervous going up and saying anything to you. So what kind of advice would you give to someone like that?
I would strongly advise keeping about a 6-foot distance from Bryn Klein. He can be a jerk. Not really. I don't think he has. I don't know if he's even capable.
I don't think so.
I have to push his buttons a little bit, maybe see if we can get him to spaz out or something. The big thing is to try to get out of your comfort zone, which I understand. If you're there, you're wildly uncomfortable. If you're in the in your hotel room, that might be a little bit of comfort, but try not to be. Try to get out there. Try just interacting. It's crazy how it just kind of happens. See someone else sitting alone or standing kind of alone, looking around, and you're alone. Walk on over. They got a badge. You can kind of get an idea of where they're from, or the shop name may clue you in a little bit on them, some stuff. Of course, their name, but that just starts, and you might be relieving them of having to do the same thing. And next thing you know, you're starting to form your own little group. And then, of course, when you see certain people, like the last podcast, George Menchu is such a gem of a person. And whether you know it or not, has benefited you so much that to just be able to go up and say hi and, thank you, or, just a couple minutes is well worth your time. And I get it. If he's working or whatever, you hate to get in anyone's way like that, but just go over and say hi. The only one I've ever seen bite somebody's head off was Jim Morton, and that's not true either. His dentures would fall out. Just kidding.
Poor Jim.
You'll probably stun them more than anything. You would give a rip to talk to them and shake their hand. But I think even more importantly than going up to all these, whatever you would call them, a very loose use of the word celebrity, is also finding people like yourself, first time attendee or second time, looking a little bit alone. And then you find out they're kind of your age. They're kind of doing the same thing you're doing. And next thing you know, this person's a regular phone call, text messaging, instant, direct messaging or instant messaging on whatever platform, a shoulder to lean on, vice versa. And next thing you know, you're kind of growing as professionals together. That's really where it's at. That's I feel like that's where I was going. I mean, my trajectory followed just an interesting path, right? Because I didn't go to vision just outright. Like I had the ability to go to Thornton classes, and then he's kind of like, you should go to Lindertech, and then working to go do that and meeting people down there that were, okay, John, Jim Linder, Randy Dillman, they were celebrities, if you will, well-known industry contributors or whatever. And from that, people in the class I was with, meeting them, getting to know them, starting to form relationships with those. And then again, John's like, hey, you should go to Vision. And having met Dan Baumhart, having a lot of stuff in common with him, having a really terrific friendship grow out of that, saying, if you can get to Chicago, I will get you to Kansas City. That's how that started. And now Baumhart's somebody everybody should know, even before he worked for ASE, as a shop owner in West Allis, Wisconsin. And what he contributed to the profession is unfortunately not well known, nor would he want anyone to know, but it absolutely exists. And then now working for ASE as a test manager, what he does for us. So forming a friendship with him caused just a network explosion, if you will. And that's how I think not just can work, that's how it kind of works for everybody that frequents these things. And yes, you find out a lot of the same people go to the many different training conferences. So the ones at Vision are probably at STX, and they're probably at Apex, and they're probably at the Northwest Auto Show or whatever that's called, like familiar faces, and it just deepens those connections and just causes them to expand out to more and more and more, and then it's supercharged by social media.
With networking, I never would have expected myself to end up having friends in the automotive industry at all.
Oh, in general, I thought.
Yes, in general, but with the automotive industry, because I work remote, we travel to shows. The first couple of years, I started meeting people and, they're great. And I won't see them now for 8 months, or maybe I'll see them next year. And developing those friendships to stay in touch throughout the year between conferences has just been wonderful. A typical job, you have your coworkers in your building that you work in. But with the automotive industry, because it's such a vast network and there's so many shows, you can almost create your own coworkers that don't work in your shop, that aren't in the same town. And I can't imagine what that's like for someone that has never experienced that. And, I have Matt, you're one of my closest friends, and all I hear all day is you and other people constantly helping each other with different problems or just shooting the breeze. And I think that's something that is lost if you're stuck in your own bubble. So I know, like, for me, it's great to chit chat with you guys all the time, but to take it to the next level, if you're a technology specialist, to have other friends around the country that can help you with problems or direct you to someone else or just listen to you is really invaluable.
Yeah. And the networking isn't just the, if you're, like you said, a technical specialist, mechanical specialist, service advisor, whatever. It doesn't stop just with other attendees as technical specialists or mechanical specialists. It's also going to the trade shows and meeting vendors or manufacturers and shaking hands and talking about products. And maybe you're talking about a product you want to buy. And then the next time you see them, you're talking to them as an owner of that tool, giving feedback, valuable feedback. And maybe it just starts out as, let me write that down. Let me write that down. And then the next thing you know, they're calling you saying, hey, we got this new thing coming out. You came to mind. You got a lot of really good things to add to the old thing, but now we got this new thing and I'm really interested in what you think about it. I want to send you one, or I can't just give you one, but I can sell you one at a discount, or I can give you some free, whatever. And that leads to more. And now you're part of something. And even if it doesn't end up where you're getting product, that isn't really the goal. It's you now have somebody on the inside to call. And I have this tool and it won't do this, or I'm trying to do this. And they either know, or they know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. and helps you. And that's really what it's all about.
What is something you love about yourself?
I might have to think about this. I have a love-hate relationship with how I see connections. So I like being able to see them, but I kind of hate how difficult it makes it for me to function and answer questions without getting really off on tangents, and having a good enough memory to have a lot of reference material to make and see lots of connections between things that seem like there's no connection.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Maybe 10 years, technically, I'll be a shop owner. I don't know if that's good or bad. You gotta be careful what you wish for. I hope to still be, I don't want to say like I am on the cutting edge of everything, but I feel like I'm in the vicinity. So stuff that's coming down the pipe, there are people vastly superior at it than me, but I feel like I, for the most part, can at least converse with them and hold my own to at least a degree, a somewhat respectable degree. So I hope to still be, whatever that entails. Everyone will say EV, and I don't know that EVs are that freaking complex to be worried about, but I think I might be a shop owner. Hopefully more of what I already am, maybe a little bit better at it. Yeah, a little bit better. A lot better is asking a lot. I'm not that good.
Okay, last question. What's the question you want to ask me?
It seems lazy, but I like the question. I would turn it on you. Where do you see yourself, or what do you see for yourself 10 years from now?
Oh, gosh. 10 years. I'll be 45.
Probably still look 25.
I hope. I don't know. I think everyone always assumes, well, Tracy's just going to take over the podcast and have her own show and do the same stuff that my dad's doing right now. But I don't know if I see that for myself. But I also never expected I would see myself where I am now a couple years ago. So I still see myself in the automotive industry. I can't imagine leaving. I can't imagine not going to conferences, not seeing my friends. So I would like to stay in the vein of automotive somehow, but something where I feel more this is me. Carm and I, it's just two people running this, so we can do what we want, but, this is his passion, and I've kind of snuck in here and realized I really do enjoy this and that I can have a career in automotive, even though I don't work in a shop. When you said that question, I immediately thought about my parents. They're going to be 10 years older. That seems scary to me because I still don't even acknowledge that one day they might not be here.
That's like subject matter I kind of avoid.
Oh my gosh, in 10 years, Madonna will definitely not be with me. Oh my gosh.
That's her dog, who's already like 16, right?
She is 16, yes.
Wow. I mean, she's partly bionic.
I hope 10 years, I am in a really good place. I'm in a very good place for myself. I'm in a good place for my family, for my friends. And I feel not content, I guess, but that this is really what I'm supposed to be doing. This is where I'm supposed to be. I feel that a little bit now, but not fully, I would say.
It's only been a few years, really. And you're coming in with zero background.
Yes, which that was very difficult for me to do. I really thought, well, there's no way. I'm not even going to be able to talk to anybody because I've never worked in a shop.
But that puts you in a really interesting position because most people, and I hate to say in the profession itself, but in a role like yours, as a voice of the aftermarket type thing, and maybe not even the aftermarket, just a voice of a profession who started out not in the profession, kind of, you weren't like thrown to the wolves, but you were definitely, you've been learning on the run. So your appreciation for things is much different than most of us. Like we take a lot of stuff for granted, kind of like the one question where I'm talking about brakes. We just take that for granted. That's easy. That's novice. You can have the kid do that. And however, if something goes awry, it's big problems for the shop. Same thing with a lot of what we're doing, the lineup for ARN. They've been in it the majority of their lives. And so their view is different than yours. Yours is coming from a much different place with very little reference material to use and lean back on. So to me, that's a very interesting take and one that's quite important for us to have access to as you learn more and get more ingrained into things that you can always remember those first few months or even years. That just gives you a perspective that the rest of us can't have. We need you to have it.
I joke with Carm that maybe we'll end up reviving the Capriotto Auto Parts name.
There you go.
Never know.
You know, if I knew about a Capriotto Auto Parts, I'd be scared to get parts because, like, if you're late with your bill, is he show up and break your legs or put your head in a vice until your eye pops out or got a blowtorch? Like, that's what I'm wondering. Or has he got cinder blocks in the back of the vehicle and just in case you got to go get some cement shoes? Go swimming.
Gotta take you for a ride.
Hey, Matt, you want to go fishing? Nope, I don't like fishing.
Go out to this cornfield.
Yeah. We need more stocks down if we're going to play softball. Ding, 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 ding.
All right, that's it for my questions. We did it. What'd you think of my questions?
You told me they're going to suck, so I have really, really low expectations. I thought they were good. I don't know if the answers were worth a dang, but the questions were good. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on and doing that. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you to NAPA Autotech Training for sponsoring. And thank you to the Aftermarket Radio Network, even Tracy, for letting me get away with this.
It's a full-time job.
Yeah. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can email me at mattfonslopodcast@gmail.com. And maybe we work up enough to do this again, or we'll just do mailbag episodes. Or maybe I can beg Brendan Klein to come on and we can answer some questions with him, he being kind of omniscient. So I won't have to do anything. That'll be great. Sooner the better. Send those questions. So yeah, thanks again. And until next time, take care.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Matt.
You've been listening to Matt Fonslow, diagnosing the aftermarket A to Z on the Aftermarket Radio Network. Follow Matt on your favorite listening app. He's very interested in what you have to say. Let him know what you'd like him to cover and come on the show. Matt is all for advancing the aftermarket. Find Matt Fonslow on social media and connect or on aftermarketradionetwork.com.